This Topeak rack system works really good. I really like it. But how do you mount your own stuff onto the Topeak rack system? In this video, I'm going to show you how to mount your own battery, your own bag, or any accessory you want to the Topeak rack system. So I've had this rack for over a year, and the rack has held up really well, but the bag has not. The zipper broke after about a year, and I wasn't too keen on spending another $80 on another bag. So I bought this bag for $12, and I wanted to see if I can get this to mount on the rack system. I got this at Home Depot. It's a Husky bag, and it was only $12. And I also recently added a second battery to my e-bike, and I needed a way to mount my battery to this Topeak rack system here. So I'm going to show you how I did this. So my first idea to get something to fit into this track system was just to rip a 1x down to correct width and then cut these grooves into a piece of wood with my table saw, just about an 1/8 inch thick, and then see if I can get that to work. And the problem with this is that it splits really easily, and it also is not shaped properly. The channels on the rack are shaped like this, so you can't cut that like this to make maximum use out of the thickness of the channel. So I came up with this 1/8 inch thick plywood. It's birch plywood, and you can only get it at certain places. Hardwood lumber stores or Rocklear Woodworking has small sheets of it as well. But so with the 1/8 inch, after I cut it to width, I can then sand it and bevel these edges so it fits perfectly in the track. So I cut a nice long piece of this, and I mount it on here. This is how I mount my bag to the rack. You can see the bottom piece. Then there's a middle piece that's a 1/4 inch less in width. And then on top, this is the piece I'm going to mount to the bag. I'm going to put some pop rivets in here. I'll show you how I do that after I paint the rack. And then to get it to stay in, when you slide it in, this fits under the lip right here, just like the Topeak system does. This is a plastic wine cork. You can make it out of anything, a piece of dowel or anything. And so this is just a one piece of 1/8 inch thick right there. So it bends. This doesn't bend because now this is 3 pieces thick. So this slides on, goes underneath the rack there and stays on. It won't come off. That's going to go on there like that. For my battery, I did the same thing. It's the same piece of 1/8 inch thick birch plywood that's on the bottom here. And then it's just a piece of 1x that's cut a 1/4 inch less in width. So now this will slide on easily onto my rack. And I don't have the locking system on here. I don't know if that locking system is going to work with a 8 or 9 pound battery. So I secure this with a rope at the end here and tie it on. And also when I do go out with 2 batteries, I bungee this down as well, because I don't want it, if I wipe out or something, to force it if it did break. Let me slap a coat of paint on this and I will show you how I pop rivet this to the bag. So this is my finished bag. I've painted the rack and I've pop riveted it onto the bag. These 6 pop rivets. The good thing about pop rivets is they mount flush. If you're not familiar with pop rivets, let me show you how that works. These are the size pop rivets I used for this job. They come in all different sizes. This one uses a 3/16 of an inch hole, so I drilled those holes in the bottom of the rack. It goes in like that, and then you put the bag, drill a hole in the bottom of the bag, make a hole in the bottom of the bag, then you take a fender washer that has a 3/16 of an inch size hole too, so it just barely fits over the pop rivet. And now when I pop this rivet with the gun, that'll hold that bag on there real tight. So I had a hard time putting the holes in the bottom of the bag. This bag is made out of some kind of woven plastic. And so what I ended up doing is using a soldering iron, and I melted holes into the bottom of the bag where I put the rivets. That worked better than trying to cut a hole or something in the bottom of this bag. And I didn't like the handles. These handles were on this bag. I've cut those off as well, and then melted the ends so that it doesn't fray. So here's the finished bag. You can see the pop rivets in there with the fender washers in there. And again, this is just a plastic wine cork that I screwed on. There's just a screw at the bottom holding that on there, which is the catch. So that mounts on. Piece of cake. $80 Topeak bag, $12 Home Depot bag. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you learned anything or was any help at all. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot.